What's happening, Wrestling Nation? Coach Kennelly here with another episode of Solitary Mind of a Madman. And this is a topic that's on my mind. I'm looking to reach out to get a little help for it. And I got a lot of thoughts on the subject that I think are a little outside of the box. So I want to share that with the YouTube world as well and get a little feedback, because this affects me in two areas. I have two young children who I'm starting to get into wrestling. And I also have a new organization, a new academy that I'm starting up. And we're trying to get philosophy. Where do we start? How do we get things going? So the topic of today is, what style should your athlete or should your club do for a first-year wrestler? This is the initial wrestler joining. They have no experience. They're coming into your gym. Which style are you showing them first? Which style are you offering? So most gyms, I found out, offer folk style first, and that's fine. But I switch my approach around and I offer Greco-Roman wrestling first. I offer freestyle second and folk style third. And I understand that this is uncommon. I apologize for the announcements in the background. I'm a school teacher. I record these on my lunch, so I'll talk through that. But yeah, you got to get it how you live. So the philosophy I've got through, I actually learned from Lucas Skeleton Combat, so thank you to him. But Greco-Roman helps your freestyle technique. Freestyle technique helps your folk style technique, and that doesn't work in reverse. You can't take a folk style athlete and get them really good at freestyle and Greco, teaching them backwards. It can happen because some of our folk style athletes are so elite, and that's how our process has worked out. Luckily with the RTCs, we got people training international styles earlier, opportunities for world teams at younger ages. So I think that this is, we're a little bit ahead of the curve here, but I also want to help other people get ahead of this curve and build it, and also help up the Greco-Roman community. I know not everybody enjoys that style of wrestling, and some of the top level matches can be boring, but look up guys like Kamal Bay, Jalen Connor, who's that young dude, Joel Adams out there, high schooler, Jesse Thilke. So there's a lot of the Flying Squirrel. There's a lot of fun, cool people that Benji Peak, Peyton Jacobson. There's a lot of cool, fun people you can watch in Greco-Roman. It's a great style if you take the time to learn it. So there's also less fear. You don't get the capacities for fear. They're not as prevalent at a younger age. Hence why gymnastics, there's a very young age to start. If you want to be an Olympic world level person, they have a track to set you on. That's the idea that we're trying to do with wrestling. There's neural pathways that have a certain time to develop, or they don't have it. And you also have less fear, so the kids can back arch, they can do these things. Because in freestyle and folk, folk style, all my points are ahead of me. In freestyle, a lot of them are ahead of me. In Greco, almost all my points are behind me, where I'm looking back, I'm back arching, I'm taking risks, doing odd things that are not normally. Because when I arch my back and go to throw an opponent over me, there's a risk they come down on me, I don't land it. A lot of different things could happen besides like doing a snatch single, where low risk, where I come back in, hand fight, and I'm not killed. You do a bad throw, it could be, that pin zone, things like that. So that's why I want to start Greco-Roman first, and I've had some pushback for other people I'm starting the club with. So I'm looking to go, what did you do with your kids? There's some questions I want to ask. Would you be okay if you showed up at a club and their first thing they're offering, the youth, whatever your age you start at, and now some 4-year-olds compete, which I think is ridiculous. I think the age that your kid should start with, when they can retain information. My kid's 4 years old. He's a little delayed, but he can't retain the information yet. But I still get him on the mats, get him rough and ready, but he's not ready for a full practice. When a kid could come in, listen, take direction, and hold some of that attention, even if it's for 10, 15 seconds, I'm not asking for much, they're ready to practice. So I'd say that starting age depends. Younger than 6, unless your family member wrestler, you're a coach, really makes me nervous. Almost turns into a daycare setting. But there's definitely some advantages to developing at least them gymnastic, dancing, getting them used to being tumble on the grappling mats at those early ages. So I'm fine with, whenever, my kids crawled on the mats, if that's what you want to do, that's okay. But they haven't done the full sanctioned practice. It's always been me helping on the corner, another coach, things like that. But they love to wrestle. My son is a pacifist. My daughter is half his age, and she's rough and ready. So 2 kids raised in the same house can be very different. I'm sure you know that, but you experience it more when it hits you personally. So some pushback I've had is, we're a folk style nation. That's our national sport of wrestling. So that goes to the collegiate level. A lot of collegiate coaches don't even want their athletes training Greco because they don't think it translates to a folk style match. If I'm a college coach, I'm getting paid to get you the best you can be in folk style, and those are what matters to me. Even if you win a world team, things like that, that might not matter to your boss at that college. Even though it's great, a world team is way better than placing anything in college, but you got to kind of go to what your boss values in those collegiate roles. Unfortunately, I know that very well. and the folk style is it. So there's very few collegiate programs with Greco, but shout out to Northern Michigan, Dubuque, and a few others. I know Bellarmine has thrown some kids in there, and Ohio State's got a kid that does well. I appreciate those programs that take the time to do it because it's something that's necessary, and it is one of the most popular styles in a lot of other countries. So let's embrace it and let's get good at it so we can dominate all facets of wrestling. Fear of injury, which I think is kind of silly. If you do it in a right way, teach your kids how to throw dummies first, teach them, get that body awareness. I just don't get you throwing the first days. We're working on wall climbs, we're working on back step, we're working on getting your footwork. Before you throw somebody, your footwork's got to be in place. Get them used to athletic positions, used to lifting, the basic skills of wrestling, stance, motion, level change, penetration, lift, back arch, back step. Get them doing all those things and then teach the techniques. Once they got the back steps, things like that, all these techniques come in. An arm spin's not that much different from a head and arm. Head and arm's not too much different than a toss, so you get some basic skills, then get them throwing. I suggest dummies first because if you don't know how to throw somebody, you bang them on their head. If they don't know how to throw you, they bang you on your head. You got 2 kids with a headache that tried Greco-Roman and don't like it. Get some suplex dummies for the bigger kids. They got heavier ones for the young ones. Get those speed ones. Just have them crank out a couple good reps. Have a crash mat over here, or I won't even mess up the camera now, but at the end I'll show what a crash mat looks like. Have them do that first on top of the big mat, then get ready to spread out. So you don't need to rush into it, kind of like you're boiling a frog. You don't throw it in the hot pot, put it in a nice lukewarm water, let the water heat up. Before they know it, the water's hot, they're boiled. Guess how you're boiling your team, but you can't just throw them right in that hot pot. You got to let the levels kind of crank up with them as they go. So the fear of injury, I don't see too much. Obviously, the difference is in freestyle and Greco-Roman, we want to take you through the mat. If I pick you up, it's on you as the opponent to get down safely. In folk style, if I pick you up, it's on me, the attacker, to bring you down safely. So that, some parents get translated, but I got plenty of, maybe I'll make another video on how I think wrestling is one of the safest sports you could do to your kid, because there are a lot of good points I can illustrate in there. And another thing is lack of understanding or knowledge. That's just lazy to me. I wasn't a Greco-Roman expert. I went out, trained all over the country, learned from some of the best coaches. They're willing to help you out. USA is not that good in Greco right now. We all want to grow. We all want to get better together. So go out there, seek the knowledge. If you're not going out looking for it, it's not just going to come smack you in the head unless you're ridiculously lucky, and I've never met anybody like that. So go out, find that Greco-Roman knowledge you're looking for. Look in other countries because they're beating us right now. Look at what other best guys are doing. Some people that are medaling in America, like the Benji Peaks, Kamal Bays of the world. How are they getting these things done? And just try to emulate and add your own spice. Did you improve on the design or introduce anything new? Your name ain't on the guest list. Who brung you? So add some value to the sport, increase yourself, then it'll increase your athletes. That'll help hopefully increase the whole nation is the idea. If you're just lack of understanding, you're a lazy coach, and I ain't got time for you anyway. And you're probably not watching this video. And the last one would be lack of domestic competitions and local competitions. This is one I'm working on. Maybe try to host more Greco-Roman events. Milwaukee's actually a hot area, Wisconsin in general, Illinois, Minnesota. So I have some very great Greco-Roman, Iowa right around me, but I know not everybody is that lucky or not living in the Midwest. So let's try to bring this out. If you want some Milwaukee people, we'll come out, we'll throw you, we'll do clinics, all that stuff. I got plenty of techniques on YouTube, so you can even go through there. I have the Olympic level coaching that is on this channel. You can go out and find, because the stuff I did, I want to share with y'all. I'm not just hoarding all this information to myself. I want to spread it out, help everybody grow, and help me grow too, get some feedback. That's your penny for watching this channel. It's free, but give me some feedback. Be like, hey, Greco-Roman ain't it, man. Start with folks that like everybody else. Be like, hey, you might be onto some. Let me try this out. Let me know what went well. Let me know when it went wrong. And we'll all try to get 1% better at the end of the day and try to raise the Greco-Roman in the USA is the main goal. And lastly, most clubs go from folk and they just stop there. They don't teach anything else. You got to get freestyle, folks, or Greco, other places. There's very few places that are doing Greco specialization. I know Nebraska's got the good club out there. They got the Combat up in southwestern Wisconsin, but they're few and far between. Vegas has a couple good kids. So let me know what you think. Is starting with Greco-Roman beneficial? Is it a waste of time? Should kids be experiencing it? Should a kid do each one of these 3 styles, or should they specialize? So let me know your thoughts. I appreciate you watching this video. You could have been anywhere in the world. You're watching this right now, and I truly appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. It's always peace. Much love to you.